You ever notice how certain people can trigger you instantly? Not mildly annoy you, not slightly frustrate you, but activate something sharp, emotional, immediate. Maybe it's arrogance. Maybe it's clinginess. Maybe it's emotional distance. Maybe it's someone who reminds you of a parent, an ex, or a version of yourself you don't like. And you tell yourself, it's just them. But what if it's not? What if your triggers aren't weaknesses, but signals? Psychology shows that emotional triggers are not random reactions. They are activated patterns, stored emotional memories linked to past experiences. When someone behaves in a way that resembles an unresolved memory, your nervous system reacts before your logic does. In other words, you're not overreacting, you're re-experiencing. And understanding this can change your relationships completely. Here are the deeper psychological reasons certain people trigger you and what it actually means about you. You're seeing a reflection of a suppressed trait. Psychology shows that we often react strongly to traits in others that we deny in ourselves. This is called projection. If someone's confidence feels like arrogance to you, it may be because you were taught that expressing confidence is wrong. If someone is emotionally expressive and it irritates you, maybe you learned to suppress your own emotions early in life. The mind protects your identity. So when you see someone freely expressing something you buried, it creates internal tension. It's not that they're wrong, it's that they're free in a way you haven't allowed yourself to be. And that realization isn't meant to shame you. It's meant to expand you. They activate an old emotional wound. Research indicates that emotional triggers are often linked to unresolved attachment wounds, especially from childhood. If someone becomes distant and you feel panic rising, that reaction may not be about them. It may be about an earlier experience of feeling abandoned. If someone criticizes you casually and you feel disproportionately hurt, it may connect to a time when criticism felt unsafe or constant. Your nervous system doesn't measure time the way your rational mind does. When it recognizes a pattern, it reacts as if it's happening all over again. But here's the empowering truth. Triggers show you exactly where healing is still needed. They are not proof of fragility. They are maps. You're reacting to a threat to your identity. Psychology shows that the ego, your sense of self, works hard to maintain a consistent identity. So when someone challenges how you see yourself, it can feel threatening. If you see yourself as kind, someone accusing you of being selfish may feel unbearable. If you see yourself as independent, someone pointing out your neediness may feel insulting. The intensity of your reaction often reveals how tightly you're holding onto a certain self-image. And sometimes, growth begins when that image cracks slightly. Not to destroy who you are, but to make room for a fuller version of you. They mirror a dynamic you haven't resolved. Research indicates that we unconsciously recreate familiar relational dynamics, especially those that feel unfinished. If you grew up needing to earn love, you may feel triggered by people who are emotionally withholding. If you had to overfunction in relationships, you may feel frustrated with people who seem passive or dependent. Your reaction isn't random, it's relational memory. Your system recognizes the pattern and braces itself. But here's the shift. You are no longer the child in that dynamic. You are the adult now. And awareness gives you choice. You're protecting a boundary you never learned to voice. Sometimes triggers aren't about projection. Sometimes they're about suppressed boundaries. If someone interrupts you constantly and you feel intense irritation, it may be because you've spent years not speaking up. If someone asks too much of you and resentment builds quickly, it may be because you struggle to say no. Psychology shows that anger often surfaces when boundaries are crossed. And anger, in its healthy form, is protective. Your trigger may be your mind saying, "This matters. This doesn't feel good. You deserve better," instead of judging the reaction. Listen to what it's trying to protect. So, what does all this mean? It means your triggers are not random flaws in your personality. They are emotional signals. They reveal suppressed traits, unresolved wounds, fragile identities, repeated dynamics, and unspoken boundaries. And once you see them clearly, they lose their power over you. The goal is not to eliminate triggers. The goal is to understand them. Because every time you pause and ask, why did that hit so hard? You move from reaction to awareness. And awareness is power. So, the next time someone triggers you, instead of immediately blaming them or blaming yourself, get curious. What does this remind me of? What part of me feels threatened? What old story is being activated? Your triggers are not proof that you're broken. They're proof that your mind is trying to protect something important. And when you learn to listen instead of react, your relationships change. Not because other people suddenly behave differently, but because you do. If this helped you see yourself more clearly, subscribe to Oblivion's Riddle for deeper psychological insights into the hidden patterns shaping your relationships, your identity, and your inner world. The more you understand your triggers, the less they control you, and the more intentional your life becomes.